I finally got a comic book based Miles Morales action figure to my collection. How good is it? Welcome back to the channel and thank you for tuning in to my action figure review of the new Hasbro Marvel Legends Ultimate Miles Morales with a mini comic book plastic accessory. In this review, I will compare his Coca-Cola bottle body, mainly his hips, to the Spider-Verse movie Miles Morales. The head sculpt of this figure is clean and sharply detailed. While it doesn't have the expressive afro look from the Across the Spider-Verse movie Miles Morales, it stays true to the comic book art of David Marquez from the 2014 Miles Morales Ultimate Spider-Man run. Hasbro nailed the comic-accurate details: black hair with subtle, almost basketball-like texture, brown eyes, and black painted eyebrows. His lips are painted in a dark reddish brown, and his stoic expression fits the Ultimate Universe vibe. There's even an inkjet printed wash on the brown skin tone that brings out sculpted details around his eyes, nose, and cheekbones. And unlike my defective Across the Spider-Verse Miles, this one's ears aren't bent. It's a huge win for me. The figure features an all-black plastic body with painted red costume details. The red web lines and spider logo are painted rather than sculpted, which makes sense given the butterfly joints are part of the articulation system, so sculpting there would cause breakage. Be careful with the red paint, it's thin, so avoid rubbing when the joints move. The front spider logo does split when you swivel the torso, but it continues through the inside for continuity. The back logo stays intact and looks sharp. You'll get double jointed pinless elbows and knees, which is awesome. The articulation is nearly on par with the Renew Your Vow Spider-Man, minus the neck range and no toe articulation. However, the hips are noticeably wide, which gives him Transformer-like silhouette. It's the one design choice that really feels off. The red fingers look spray painted, and the black web lines are neatly painted over them. Subtle muscle sculpting on the arms and legs adds extra realism for a teenage boy. Miles Morales comes with an alternate mask head instead of the classic wide-eye Spider-Man look. This version features narrow, focused white eyes capturing the more intense expression. The red web lines on the mask are only sculpted on the eyes. The rest are cleanly painted over a solid black plastic base. For accessories, Miles comes with a pair of web-whipping hands. And like the Spider-Verse movie version, the red paint on the fingers has a spray-painted effect, while the thin, black web lines are painted over. These hands are fully articulated at the wrist, allowing them to hinge forward and back. Unfortunately, that's the only complete pair of hands included. Hasbro skipped giving us a full set, which might be reserved for the future Maximum series Miles Morales. He comes with a right closed fist hands for punching action and a left comic book holding hand. Painted details are the same as the web-whipping hands. Both hands can hinge forward and back. I am okay not having a pair of those hands, but I am disappointed that Hasbro only included one web-crawling hand. It limits the classic Spider-Man poses, as now your wall-crawling Miles can only cling with one hand while the other is doing something else. The hands can hinge forward and back as well. The gimmick of this wave is the 6-inch scale plastic comic book accessory. Compared to Daken's black and blue comic book, more colors are added for this one to match the comic book cover of Miles Morales, the Ultimate Spider-Man #1. Progressing really good, this comic book looks better with a color of white, black, red, brown, and bronze. In the comments below, do you think this is the right book or magazine a teenage Miles Morales would be holding? If you found this review useful, I hope you give it a like, subscribe to my channel, and share this with your friends. For places where the figures in this review might still be available, I left some links in the description below. Thank you to Payaso Diorama for the diorama I use in my reviews.
I'm Tigerknot!
Now to show that the hip design of this new Ultimate Miles Morales figure isn't exactly natural, let's compare it side by side with the Across the Spider-Verse Miles Morales and the Retro Spider-Man figure. One standout feature of the Ultimate Miles is the drop-down hip articulation, which gives it more dynamic posing potential. However, when you compare the hip structure of Ultimate Miles to Retro Spider-Man, you'll immediately notice how different the proportions are. The Retro Spider-Man has a more traditional hip design, with the waist connecting seamlessly to the upper thigh, just like you expect from a normal human body. Compared to the cartoon version of the character Spider-Verse Miles, he has a different artistic proportions. The Across the Spider-Verse Miles Morales proportions is better than this new Ultimate Miles Morales. Maybe the more cartoon-looking one between the two is the new Ultimate Miles Morales. As always, in my action figure reviews, I like to experiment with head swaps and kit bashing. Unfortunately, this time around, it's a bit of a no-go. The head on the Spider-Verse Miles Morales has an attached neck peg, making it difficult to swap. Even if I manage to remove the peg, the head hole is way too small to fit the much larger ball joint on the Ultimate Miles Morales body. Here's a last-minute kit bash addition, not for Miles, but inspired by a comment on my Professor X Savage Land review. Ever wondered what Gambit would look like rocking a safari suit? One great thing about the Professor X safari suit body is its versatility. You can easily try out different heads for custom looks. Just keep in mind, the skin tones might not match perfectly, but it's still a fun way to play around with new character styles. The new Hasbro Marvel Legends Miles Morales Ultimate Spider-Man action figure stands approximately 13.8 centimeters or 5.4 inches tall. According to Marvel.com, Miles Morales stands 5 feet 2 inches tall, making this figure's height alright for a 6-inch scale. Hasbro 6-inch scale size comparison beginning with Into the Spider-Verse movie, Miles Morales, and Spider-Gwen or Ghost Spider. Is it the shoes or the afro? Movie Miles is taller than comic book Miles. From the Across the Spider-Verse wave, slightly older versions of Miles Morales and Spider-Gwen. For a short male Marvel Legends Extreme X-Men Wolverine and his son Dark Avengers Daken, who is in the new regular size male Vulcan body mold. Don't miss those reviews for more insights. War of the Marvels, celebrating 85 years of Marvel, Warbird and Moonstone as Dark Avengers Miss Marvel. Rising out of his hover chair and on his way to the Savage Land, the Target exclusive Professor X and another animated series character, X-Men 97 Rogue. I did a kit bash making a Savage Land version of Rogue. Hope you check out my Professor X Savage Land review. For a Marvel Legends Spider-Man comparison, for a slightly shorter Spider-Man from the Secret Wars wave, and regular size Spider-Man from the Renew Your Vows 2 pack. Spider-Man Retro Wave action figures, the Target exclusive Carnage, and the Walmart exclusive Venom. Recently reviewed MCU figures from the Spider-Man No Way Home movie, Electro, and from the Captain America Brave New World movie, Red Hulk. Other figures with plastic comic book accessory, giant size X-Men Banshee, and Infinity Gauntlet Adam Warlock. From the Spider-Man Retro Wave, Tombstone, and Rhino. 1/12 scale size comparison, the Medicom Toy Mafex Wolverine in his iconic brown costume, alongside the street-level MCU hero Daredevil, the Medicom Toy Mafex Phoenix Jean Grey, and X-Men Blue Strike Force team member Psylocke. Darna, Philippines version of Wonder Woman by Halimao Sculptures and Loose Collector, and the most viewed figure review in my channel. Thank you for watching the Boss Fight Studio Epic Hacks Red Sonja. Gorgeous and Deadly Ladies by the partnership of Executive Replicas and Loose Collector, Coffin Comics La Muerta, and Crusade Comics She. For fans of Street Fighter, 6-inch scale Jada Toys Street Fighter action figures, Cammy White, and the SDCC exclusive Chun-Li pink version. After the ladies are the men of Jada Toys Street Fighter, Ken and Guile. Let's take a look at scale comparisons between 6-inch scale Marvel Legends figures and 7-inch scale Diamond Select figures. Marvel Legends Rogue from the Juggernaut Build-A-Figure Wave versus the Diamond Select Toys Marvel Select Rogue. Marvel Legends Sabretooth from the 50th Anniversary Wolverine 2-pack versus the 7-inch scale Diamond Select Toys Marvel Select Sabretooth. Marvel Legends Hulk from the 80th Anniversary of Marvel Wave and the Diamond Select Toys Marvel Select Immortal Hulk or Rampaging Hulk. Let's take a closer look at the packaging for Ultimate Miles Morales. He comes in the brand new retro-style card back packaging designed to look like a comic book. Right at the top, you got the classic comic book corner box featuring a product render of Miles Morales. It says issue number 1, which is a nod to Miles Morales, the Ultimate Spider-Man, first published back in 2014. Front and center is the comic book inspired title with a splash of a comic style artwork in blue tone showing off Miles in action. On the back, you'll find renders of the entire wave of figures included in this line, each with their own comic theme plastic accessory. Miles' comic cover is highlighted in a larger display, making him stand out. There's a short character bio or read up in 5 languages. Feel free to pause the video if you want to read through that. And of course, you got the usual legal disclaimers, safety warnings, and barcode info at the bottom. Articulation: his head can move from side to side. He can look up that much for flight poses or wall crawling poses. With a ball with a hinged neck peg, he can look down that much. His arms can extend that far. And with his butterfly joint, he can reach that far back, reach forward like this. He can do a full 360 right here, and he has a bicep swivel. Double jointed pinless elbows, can reach the back of his head like that. And he has a swivel here and can hinge forward and back. He has an upper torso swivel. Combined with a ab crunch, he can crunch forward that much, crunch backward really well, and with that he can tilt from side to side. He can do a split. He has a drop down leg. He has an upper thigh swivel right here. And a double jointed pinless knees, can kick far back to his butt like that. He can kick forward that much. He has a lower cap swivel. His feet can hinge forward and back, and he has an ankle rocker. My final thoughts on the Hasbro Marvel Legends Ultimate Miles Morales from the 2025 Plastic Comic Book Accessory Wave. Was I satisfied adding this as the first comic book style Miles Morales action figure to my collection? Honestly, yes and no. Yes, because right now, this is hands down the best articulated Miles Morales figure we got. The range of motion is impressive and perfect for dynamic Spider-Man poses. No, because the hip design feels awkward and there's a noticeable lack of a second wall crawling hand, which really limits the display and posing option. As for the plastic comic book accessory, it's okay. Personally, I would prefer an extra wall crawling hand or even a web accessory that works with the comic book holding hand. That would have added more value to the overall set. Or as usual, I hope they added a real facsimile copy of Miles Morales The Ultimate Spider-Man #1 comic book. Would I recommend this figure? Like I said in my Red Hulk review, Spider-Man figures are money makers and Hasbro knows it. So yes, this is a solid addition for Spider-Man fans or collectors. But I'd bet we'll see another version of Miles in the Marvel Legends Maximum series eventually, probably with more complete accessories. If you enjoyed this review, check out my other Spider-Man figure reviews. Just hit the link in the top right corner of your screen. Are you happy with the quality and content of this figure review? If this review helps you out, drop a comment and please share it with your fellow collectors. That really helps the channel grow and tells YouTube it's worth promoting. Thanks again for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one.